Hey Ben, what level shooter do I need to be to get into your class? It's a pretty good question, and it's one that I get a lot. And I'll just tell you, I'm not too focused on the level of people shooting before a class. Um, they might be in one place, or they might think they're in one place. I think they're in another, whatever. It's not so much about the assessment of their skills. I'm more concerned with vetting them just to make sure they're safe. So the first thing that I have is, the requirement I have for people to get into classes is a safety vetting, but it's very, very subtle. What I'll use as a vetting is a, hey, what's your USPSA classification? What's your IDPA classification? All right. And if they can answer that question, they'd be like, yeah, my classification is this. I don't really care what the classification is, by the way. Like, I don't really care at all. What I want to know is like, if you've gone to these events and you've gotten through matches without getting DQ'd, you're probably going to be okay for a class where it's like you're handling your gun under someone's supervision. You're not doing anything like too wild and crazy. Like there's a 180 rule to observe as far as where you point the gun. If you are reloading and you clack one off, you're going to get DQ'd in a match. So the first vetting, I think the most important one for me is like the safety vetting is that's, hey, what's your classification for competitive shooting? Now, not everybody is a competitive shooter. That's not a huge problem either. So if you're doing law enforcement training, like the agency is going to like vet these people on some level. So it's if they're like active duty cop, like that may not be the same sheet of music as competitive shooting as far as what the safety rules or what the range rules are going to be, but you know that people are on some level going to be safe and not going to cause a problem. So that's a really good vetting tool. Aside from that, you can ask what other courses people have attended, if they've been to others. Like, again, this is going to show there's some track record here of demonstrating safety. Aside from that, it's going to be just an individual conversation like, hey, what's your experience? What about this and that, the other thing? And there it is. Like, the most important thing for me is the safety thing. Like I said, obviously, I like to say that have fun is the first rule of gun safety, and it is. But it's not fun when people are unsafe or causing a problem. So again, the first thing we're going to vet for is safety, match experience, like where do they work if it's that type of course, or then just go into specific questions. After that, I think an important thing is how much people practice or how into this they are. So there are people that dry fire like 3, 4, 5, 6 days a week, and they're shooting all the time when they can, and it's like their hobby. They're like hobbyists. And if it's one of those people, the more advanced courses like skills and drills, or maybe the advanced training course that I do, like that's going to be a good fit for those people. Because and even like apart from their skill level, the fact that they're like nerds about shooting, that means they're going to have a better time if they go to the nerd level class. And again, it's not about skill. They might be doing this for 6 months and be in C class and be very new, but the fact that they're immersed, right? They're like working on it every day and they're talking about it, and they're like reading different books and they're watching stuff on YouTube, whatever. They're drinking from a fire hose at that point, and they're just really into it. So that make like that being a nerd is a really good thing for the more advanced classes, in my opinion. Finally, vetting people for skill, like that is important. Uh, what I look for there is like, are they going to be able to keep up in the class? And then maybe they'll want to have a different class if the class that they're in is over their head. So as far as skill, it's really important that you can hit stuff like hit an A zone, for example, maybe 15, 20 yards away, no time limit, but you can hit it every time. If you can do that, you're not going to be too frustrated by anything that you're doing. If somebody's foundational skills aren't to the level that they can slow fire effectively, they're going to have a hard time in any course. Like, because they're always going to be working on that one thing, just the grip, fire control type of mechanics. And we'll start doing more dynamic exercises. And those people, I it's not that they don't get anything out of it. It's just, no, you're going to be stuck working on the fundamental mechanics if you want the bullets to go where you want. It won't matter that trying to do it faster is not really going to help you. Like, you have to be able to put them where they need to go. That's one thing. For higher level guys, like master, grandmaster, or people with a lot of major match experience, a lot of times it's good to group them together and put them in an advanced class. And that's not even so much for me, that's so they can kind of fight with each other a little bit and kind of build that pressure and create a good environment for all those guys to really push each other. So anyway, that's what I look for as far as for people in courses. It's not so much a skill thing. It's like a safety thing, a motivation thing. What are you trying to get out of this thing? The skill level is a thing, but that's at the bottom of my list, to be honest.